All right, let's jump right into the weather for November 11th. It's looking like a real mixed bag out there for southern India, so we're going to break down who's likely to see rain in Tamil Nadu and, of course, what's in store for its neighbors. So, the big question, right? The one on everyone's mind is simple. Where is the rain actually going to fall today? Let's find out.
Okay, so to really get today's forecast, we first need to look at the bigger picture up in the atmosphere. What's actually causing the weather that we're seeing?
Well, there are a couple of things going on. We've got an atmospheric circulation over the Bay of Bengal, and the northeast monsoon winds, they're feeling a bit weak right now. But the real driver for today's rain, the main event, is something called wind convergence happening right over southern Tamil Nadu. This is the key to the entire forecast.
So what on earth is wind convergence? It's actually pretty simple. Just picture winds coming from different directions, and they all meet or converge in one area. That air has nowhere to go but up. As it rises, it cools down, the moisture condenses into clouds, and eventually, we get rain. It's the primary engine for the rainfall we're expecting today. Okay, so that's the theory. But what's actually been happening on the ground? Let's take a quick look at the rainfall data from the last 24 hours to see how this whole pattern is playing out.
And what's really interesting here is where it's been raining. We saw some decent activity in places like Mandapam and a little bit in North Chennai, but it was all very targeted. This tells us the rain has been scattered and localized, not some widespread downpour, which, totally backs up that wind convergence theory.
All right, let's get to the core of it all, the detailed forecast for Tamil Nadu for the next 24 hours.
The most crucial point for today is that Tamil Nadu's forecast is really a tale of two halves. The southern districts have a much higher chance of seeing light to moderate rain, all because that's where the wind convergence is focused. For most of the other districts, the chance is way lower, with mainly just isolated showers or completely dry conditions.
So, let's get a bit more specific. If you're in the southern districts like Kanyakumari, the Delta regions, or even some parts of the Western Ghats, you've got the best chance of seeing some of that light to moderate rain today.
But, and this is a big but, even within that zone, please don't expect widespread heavy downpours. The models suggest that only very specific, isolated pockets in districts like Tenkasi, Tirunelveli, and Thoothukudi might get a short, intense burst of heavy rain.
Now, for the northern and central parts of the state, including big cities like Chennai, Coimbatore, and Trichy, the story is pretty different. The chances of rain are much lower. And if you do get rain, it's likely to be a very brief, very isolated kind of shower.
And for those of you in Tirupatur and Krishnagiri districts, the forecast is even simpler. You can expect dry weather for today.
Okay, let's expand our view now and quickly check in on the forecast for the neighboring states of Kerala and Andhra Pradesh. Over in Kerala, we're seeing a pretty similar north-south split. The southern and central districts, from Thiruvananthapuram all the way up to Ernakulam, can expect moderate to even heavy rain. The northern districts, on the other hand, are likely to see only light rain. And over in coastal Andhra Pradesh, the main feature is going to be mostly cloudy skies. There's a chance of some light rain in a few places, particularly in those southern coastal districts like Nellore and Tirupati.
All right, let's shift our focus to the bigger picture. What can we expect for the rest of the week? And more importantly, what's the outlook for the monsoon in general? It's time for a little expectation management.
This is the one question that always comes up during monsoon season. Are we looking at a low-pressure system or maybe even a cyclone forming in the coming days? So let's just be direct about this. Based on all the current data and all the models, the answer is a very clear no. The chances of any significant storm system forming next week are extremely low.
And here's the science behind that. Think of these large, planet-wide weather waves. One of the most important is the MJO, or the Madden-Julian Oscillation. Right now, it's in a phase that basically acts like a shield for our region, suppressing any storm formation. Plus, another helpful pattern is also fading away. Put simply, the global atmosphere is just not set up to create a storm here right now.
This sluggish pattern also affects the outlook for the entire month. Based on the way things are going, it's very unlikely that November is going to end with excess rainfall. In fact, even just reaching the normal amount for the month could be a challenge.
And this brings us to what might be the most important takeaway of all. Given this forecast, it's so important not to believe sensationalist rumors you might see about floods or strong winds. The conditions just do not support those kinds of events right now. Always rely on credible weather analysis.
So with the monsoon in a weak phase and the month unlikely to deliver a lot of rain, we're left with the final question. How will nature eventually balance the scales?
It's a reminder that we're just observing one small piece of a much, much larger puzzle. Thanks for tuning in.